The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, and we're exploring a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world where we have a personal choice, personal health, and of course our personal freedoms. And thanks for joining us. I'm Nico Haan.
And I'm Paige Clarke.
And it's a beautiful day here in downtown Clearwater.
It's beautiful.
Like 59 degrees.
They said
cool.
It was the coldest day of the year so far.
I think the coldest day of the high.
Oh.
Not the lows, because we've had a couple of lows
I know, we're
at
so
night.
spoiled though.
Yeah, we are spoiled. So, yeah. And then, what's cool? It's my granddaughter's coming down.
Oh, how
My
wonderful.
19-year-old granddaughter, Sydney.
Nice.
She's driving down. They were in Valdosta last night, so they should be here this afternoon after the show. I'll probably be seeing her.
Well, I hope you have a nice weekend with
Yeah,
them.
that's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, so we're
Great
here.
gal.
We're having a little bit of our Tiger Brew, or also known as Bulletproof Coffee. And we wanted to explore that a little bit. Article came out in musclemagazine.com.
Can I say something before?
Yeah.
First? I want people to subscribe to our newsletter, because we're going to go over that a little bit later on in the show, a couple of things, but I just want people, get the newsletter because it follows the show. Some things are in there that we're talking about, some things aren't, and it's more in depth. So I really want you to, join us in that pursuit and make the newsletter better the more subscribers I have.
And a lot of people that talk to us in the chat room are, constantly telling us it's one of the best newsletters they've ever had.
Yeah,
You put so much time into making it interactive so that they can click to the links, not it's a joy to read. So I hope you guys will. It supports the show. It keeps us kind of motivated to keep
also
looking.
what it does is it helps you explore this thing that we're trying to do, is this health. What has gone wrong? Because when I look at, being born on planet Earth here, everything's supposed to be pristine, everything's supposed to be nice, it's supposed to be wild, but it's not. We've kind of tamed it. And I think taming the world from every angle, whether it's from the agricultural point of view or just from the way we live, it's going against nature, and we're really part of nature. There's a lot of things along the line that have said we're not part of nature, we were put here by an entity, and however we got here, we don't know. But I know that we are here, and we're part of the earth, we're part of the animals. We seem to operate the same as the animals do.
Well, we definitely like going down the rabbit hole, so it's not just superficial stuff we talk about here. We really
and the
do
newsletter
explore.
just emphasizes this. And also, please pick up some of Primal Edge. And I was talking to Tommy earlier, and I said, the more I'm on this Primal Edge, the smoother things seem to get. I mean, in my life, physically, but mentally also, I feel much more clarity, and it's been about 6 months for me now since I was on that first formula of Primal Edge, and then we tweaked it, and we got the final version of it, so 3 months of the final version. But I'm telling you, it's the best thing I ever took. And I've taken a lot of different vitamins over the years, so just not to interrupt, but let's get back to the
Yeah, it's good to cover that. I just got excited because...
Oh, and it's 877-927-6648. Before I forget, please give us a call if you'd like to join us in this.
Yeah, so I saw this article, and and I were batting it back and forth, because now that Bulletproof Coffee, or Tiger Brew as we call it here, has gained popularity, we're starting to see a lot more articles. I'll focus on it in the blog sphere.
This one you sent me last week, and it was very interesting to me, basically because, I love the stuff.
Right.
And I've kind of tweaked it on my own, too, kind of followed Dave Asprey's version. And it's I think it's important to go over the story of how he found this.
I think it's really interesting. They say the story was that he was at 18,000 feet in Tibet.
Right.
On Mount Kailash in Tibet, and he's a Silicon Valley executive. He supposedly has invested about $250,000 biohacking his own health. Had the money to do it, thank goodness for him. But let me tell you what it was, is he was instantly rejuvenated from this kind of stressful, trek.
Well,
in
not only the
Tibet.
trek, but just being at 18,000 feet alone with the less oxygen that we're used to is really taxes your body. And even if you go to like Denver and go into the mountains up to 8,000, you can feel that. You can imagine what it's like at 18.
Oh, absolutely. And he was rejuvenated by having a local delicacy that was a yak butter tea. Now, I really enjoy seeing this because other mentors of mine have shared that the longest lived people drink coffee and tea with butter and salt. And what do we talk about a lot here?
That's pretty much what we talk about.
So it's interesting to me that these, this has had a history in societies that go back thousands of years. And he was intrigued by this unusual combination, and he experimented with different flavors until he came up with bulletproof coffee, and then he vetted out different suppliers of beans, knowing that coffees can be over-roasted, creating a lot more acrylamide issues. And also have pesticides and mycotoxins like aflatoxin.
Yeah, so it's really important to have organic coffee. It does cost a little bit more, but it's really worth it. I think you'll find that you'll probably drink less if the coffee's better. I drink it twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon, about mid-afternoon. And I do it in lieu of lunch. I find I don't need lunch as long as I get the fat for the fuel, because I don't need that much more protein. I eat quite a bit of protein at my breakfast, and then I also have quite a bit of protein at my dinner, but not a lot in between, unless once in a while I'll have a specific protein drink or something like that. But I use this coffee a lot, and I use it with the 2 tablespoons of MCT oil. And interesting how they talk about the MCT oil in here, and really MCT oil is a shorter chain. Most chains of triglycerides, of fats, are long chains saying they're 12 or more carbons long, while the short chains, the medium chain triglycerides, have 6 to 12.
Right.
And you've got to buy it from a reliable source, because I've also found ones that are 16 and called medium chain.
That's not a medium chain triglyceride, correct.
But a lot of people sneak that in there. So get it from a good source. Now is a good source. There's a couple of good sources out there. Of course, Bulletproof Coffee guy has it too. Quite a bit more expensive, I find his products are. It's a kind of premium product.
So science in a cup, guys. While there's not really been research on bulletproof coffee per se, science has examined the individual ingredients, namely coffee, MCT oil, and grass-fed butter.
Yeah, there's quite a few studies. I was kind of interested that there were so many studies that he came up with.
Yeah, and I want to digress for a second as a holistic health practitioner. Dr. Bob Marshall would not agree with us on this necessarily. He says the only place coffee belongs is up your butt, in a coffee enema, and then it's a super thing. So, we have to try different things for ourselves, but let me explain what I think makes this different. I actually do use a coffee that Premier Research produces. It's beautiful. It's not over-roasted.
Is that the green coffee?
No, it's not actually green, but it's beautiful, and it tests out very pure, and I'm more than happy to send it to people. It's these fats, these superfoods that we're actually putting in the coffee that really kind of takes the damaging effects of caffeine. See, what happens with a lot of people when they drink, the typical American is drinking a highly processed, toxic, chemically laden coffee with high caffeine.
Has mold in it too.
Correct.
Because they sit around a while.
Correct. And they buy cheap coffee.
Yeah, especially if you buy it unground.
Right.
And these packages are pesticide laden too. I mean, it's just.
And let me just go a little farther on that. Okay, we live in a country that's fat phobe. Okay, so they're scared to death. So they're putting all these funkified fats into their coffee. These
and plus the sugars that they put in it too.
Okay. Yeah. Let me say. So they're visualize this. They're buying these international coffees that, if you look at the ingredients, they're not even healthy fats. Yeah. They're chemicals. And then they're using teaspoons of sugars or the artificial sweeteners. So they're really having a chemical cocktail where, I believe these groups of people that have lived a long time did a lot of other things. Like they have access to really beautiful mineralized water, structured water.
The salts.
But the salts, correct.
And exercise at those altitudes, certainly.
Yeah, we know that exercise at high altitude, in general, high altitude is good for us. We actually live longer, and it's a lot related to the CO2, that we're getting. But I do want people to understand that I believe that it's coffee in this form makes it as long as it's a pure coffee and you're using it as a great source of fuel.
Yeah, and the grass-fed butter too.
The grass-fed butter is a great source of our fat-soluble nutrition.
Right.
That's the key point, folks.
Yeah. And some of these studies are actually workout studies that they've done with athletes who have drank coffee, and the placebo people didn't have the coffee.
It's actually pretty well documented in exercise physiology. A decrease in muscle pain. This was a study in 2009 out of the University of Illinois. Changes your muscles' DNA. It influences your muscles the same way that exercise does, and so that's why a lot of bodybuilders and so forth, you'll find out, drink some caffeine before they work out.
Yep.
Burns more calories, and promotes greater blood flow.
It also makes you more alert.
Yeah,
that's the coffee aspect.
I think that's what we all truly love
and
about
I think the fats carry that with them too, because the fat we need to be alert also.
Well, and we know that the beneficial effects of the medium chain triglycerides on brain health, and helping to open up those cell membranes to get the healthy fats in for restoration. I think that what people will find is when they use their morning coffee as a way to get these healthy fats in, they're going to find that they not only get that energy they got from the caffeine, but in a more comfortable, sustained, with no drop-off like you get from the typical...
You don't get the edgy thing because the fats really even it out, so it's almost like a time release. Yeah, I think you're right on that.
And folks, you can do this on the go. A lot of people go, I don't want to take the time to put it in the blender and create it. It's great in the blender. But if you don't have time, you buy a nice thermos top like I have, and I just shake it up, and I'm out the door.
Yeah. Well, let me just go over how you can make this. Of course, we're talking about really top-notch ingredients naturally. Pour 1 or 2 cups of coffee, 8 to 16 ounces, into a blender. Add 1 teaspoon of MCT oil or coconut oil, and you can double that as you get used to it. And 1 tablespoon of grass-fed unsalted butter. Kerrygold is the brand that we usually get. You can also double that as you get used to it. Then that's what I do. Took me a couple of months to kind of get used to it, the extra fat. Mix it at a high speed for 30 seconds to 1 minute until the texture is frothy, or longer if it appears lumpy from the butter. If the coffee tastes bitter, sweeten it with a teaspoon of cinnamon or vanilla. Splenda. I wouldn't use Splenda.
Oh, no Splenda, okay. No stevia. Splenda, but stevia is excellent.
Yeah, I don't even know about vanilla. Cinnamon.
Well, as long as they're organic, non-irradiated spices, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, you can always use a little honey too, or whatever. Yeah, so that's, and we call this here Tagger Brew. I drink it during the show. Whoops, here it is, right here.
It says clearly, do not add sugar. The resultant insulin spike will counteract many of the energizing benefits from the butter, coffee, and the oil. I started to introduce Dr. Marshall's fantastic research on the biofield, and although he has blessed us with so much great stuff, and I think one day Dr. Marshall and Dr. Forbes will probably be Nobel Prize winners for their biofield research, we're going to talk a lot more in coming shows because his book is going to be released. I'll probably be glad to share the biofield diet in our newsletter for our subscribers. Really gives us some tips as to which foods we can eat, what time of the day to maximize our insulin sensitivity. Brilliant work. So stay tuned. We got to go on a break. Give us a call.
877-927-6648. We'll be right back.
See you after the break.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Check out the new look of Tiger TV. Now you can see all hosts, charts, and computer screens live in high definition. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV. Now, crystal clear in high definition, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't seen the new look of Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. And I'm Paige Clarke. I'm with Nico to Haan. We're living a primal lifestyle, and we want to help you do the same. Hey, we were just talking a little bit about some different things, and we've got confetti wars in the chat room. We were talking about oxygenation and CO2, but one of the comments I noticed that he said, I wanted to share some cutting-edge information. He made a comment that cinnamon is a fantastic blood sugar regulator, and so is turmeric. Ideal blood sugar is the key to warding off disease. Oh my gosh, if people only knew that. And actually, as you all know, I was just away. I missed you all, by the way. At further QRA training with Dr. Bob Marshall's company, Premier Research Labs. And we're always tweaking our formulas as the new emerging science of biofield technology. The biofield meaning the field that is really us, that controls the body with the light, the cell communication, the biophotonics. And what we know is that live source nutrition is what the body needs to heal. And Dr. Marshall stated, Confetti Wars, you'll like this, that we've known this, and we've had turmeric in all of our, in a lot of our fermented. We have a fermented cell-ready turmeric. Right. But we have two species of cinnamon, particularly Vietnamese species, and I can't remember the other one, but one of them is Bumani, Cinnamonum bumani, complete what he calls matrix completers. So in most all of our formulas now, we've added a little bit of that energy to enhance cell resonance. So I do believe that, that's one of the things I sprinkle on my coffee beans. before they get ground.
Very
So
nice.
I have that little bit of cinnamon. So thanks for sharing that. Love it when you guys, I mean, man, our chat room's full. We appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, and you can call us, of course, at 877-927-6648. Now, you sent me an article about the unknown health benefits of black beans.
Yeah, you know what I like to do, guys, is because we're exploring just as you are, and this kind of piqued my interest a little bit because primarily, you know that we have kind of strayed a little bit from beans and legumes, feeling that they're
Pretty much, unless you do certain things to them to take out that phytic acid.
Correct.
The anti-nutrients that are in beans are kind of similar to what they are in grass seeds. And any nuts have this at a lower level too. The higher that you go up in the tree, the less of the phytic acid, the lower you are. So you can see that grass seeds and beans are really close to the ground, so they have this in there. But there are health benefits if you treat them right, I would assume.
correct. And what we know is that many of our neighbors in the country of Mexico
Yes.
have thrived off of beans, and I believe it's because historically they have known, their cultures and their traditional cultures have shared the technology of properly preparing these beans so that they can nourish their bodies and their children.
Yeah.
And so when I saw this article, with the emerging science of the biofield diet, which is forthcoming, I mentioned it before the break, we know that properly prepared beans can be a superfood.
Another thing I like to mention in this, because you're right on with this whole concept, but remember the concept about seasonal. And people think about beans. Well, you can keep beans for a long time if you store them properly. But if you were eating seasonally, you'd only be eating the beans about 2 weeks from when they sprouted.
Right. Now, folks, we're not talking about your canned beans,
No, of course not.
that have been cooked and then you heat them up for 5 minutes and chow them down. I don't want to be in the room with you after that.
Why do you think you smell so bad afterwards? Yeah.
Oops, I lost my earbud. But let's talk about and let's start looking at, as we rewild ourselves and pay attention to what our ancestors and wise traditional cultures have done. We might find that properly preparing them, it can be a great protein source.
Yeah.
It's great for digestive tract health, properly prepared. We're prefacing this, guys. Let's do this properly. There is some evidence of cancer prevention according to this article in Healthy Holistic Living because of the different flavonoids in the beans, the antioxidants and the phytochemicals. These tend to work to inhibit cancer cell growth. The cardiovascular enhancing benefits that can be found with the fiber, and the ability to help regulate blood sugars is a benefit that we assign to properly prepared beans. And also due to great amino acid complex that are found in black beans, we tend to find that that can actually strengthen the nervous system.
Yeah. So a lot of good things in here. Prepare them properly. In other words, soak them. I would soak them for at least 48 hours myself. I would also let them sprout a little bit, which really tends to take those anti-nutrients out of them. And you can sour them naturally, and cooking them helps to release those things too.
And for those of you that are vegan,
Yes.
vegetarian listeners,
You're gonna
combining
need
your
them.
beans and your rice does give you a complete protein found only usually in animal foods. So hey, we're integrative here, guys. We don't want to be polar. We don't want to have polarity here. Right, wrong. Democrat, Republican. Let's all pull
But we
together.
do have to break for a commercial.
We'll be healthy.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Nico and Paige here. You can give us a call at 877-927-6648 if you'd like to join the conversation.
Can I say something?
Of course.
I was just talking a little bit about being, on polar ends of a spectrum of an issue. We talked a little bit about politics or health. And, I do share on my Facebook page a lot of information of what I consider to be vaccine information.
Yeah.
And I like to clarify to people that I don't like to consider myself a pro-vaccine or an anti-vaccine. I'm actually pro-information. And I don't feel that from because I have taken the time to look at the information, and then, as you said, what you really are is pro-choice. I want to be able to look at the research, look at the vaccine inserts that are in the boxes, and then make a informed choice for the care. Now, granted, I'm going to be the first to tell you, I vaccinated all my kids. Thank God everything's okay. I didn't know better back then. I really didn't.
It's a big scare tactic to me, this whole thing. We're talking about 130 cases in a population of over 300 million people.
Well,
now, how is that an epidemic?
Well, what's an epidemic, Nico, is 1 out of 55 children today is diagnosed with autism.
Yeah, right.
That's an epidemic. Yeah. Let's get our focus in the right place. But I think someone is assuming that I'm outright stating, because this seems to be a really upsetting thing, I stated some statistics and they felt that I wasn't looking at the correlation properly. Does it cause autism? I think it's vaccines might be the straw that broke the camel's back.
That's
We've got
kind
a
of the way
child
we got
who's
to look at it that way, because first of all, they're
brought into a toxic environment with a nutrient-deficient mother and stressors, environmental stressors from the health of the mother.
Bottle-fed probably in many cases.
Poor immunity, yes, not properly inoculated.
So you might have 4 or 5 things, and then all of a sudden you get the vaccines, and that might break
and look at how
But
these
I'm not even
vaccines have
talking about
increased.
that. I'm talking about just the fact that we need to have choices in this. I certainly don't want a company shoving this down my throat, and I certainly don't want a government, whether it's local or whether it's the school board or anything, telling me that I have to have these vaccinations or my child have these vaccinations. I should have my own control over this. And if it's a mistake, it's my mistake.
Hey, look at this headline that came in. From Natural News, measles outbreak likely caused by vaccinated children, science shows. So as you've heard, people are making an appeal. We must start vaccinating the unvaccinated. But quite frankly, folks, that's media hysteria. The science has not shown that at all. The media has actually shown that the populations that are experiencing the greatest outbreaks are actually those in vaccinated populations. And even so much so that I think last week, doctors, part of the American Medical Association, I was shocked, actually came out to say the media is practicing medicine without a license. The media is making comments that's just not actually true.
Well, the mainstream media like CNN and Fox, all these, they're funded
by the pharmaceutical companies that make the vaccine.
Of course they are. But even if they weren't, it doesn't matter to me, because I need to make the choice. I need to say, okay, 130 cases out of 300 million. To me, that's not an epidemic. First of all, it's not a serious disease unless you're getting older. So I think probably, it's, to me, if you go down the rabbit hole, I'm thinking, okay, the vaccine for the flu didn't do that well. Now we better, instead of saying, okay, we really screwed up here on the vaccine, let's just push another vaccine. And now it's the measles, 130 people. Give me a break, folks. If it's 130 just in Florida, it wouldn't be a big deal.
Let's focus, folks, on the power of a well-supported immune system and creating natural immunity instead of vaccine immunity. Natural immunity is for life. And that's what I think that we don't allow our children to have when we jam 45 needles in them before they're, 2 years old. So, and I don't know if I have my stats right. That's not my forte.
Well, it's not important. It's, we have in the chat room saying Brian Williams would never lie. And this is the problem, because we have people who are basically news readers.
I know you're kidding, right? No.
But they're news readers, these people. These are not reporters like they used to be. They basically read a teleprompter, and they're giving them their own opinion mixed with something on the teleprompter.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking.
Well, they're also getting
they seem like authorities to us, though. When you turn on CNN, everything's an authority. We must do this. We have to do this. Look at it this way. Oh, we're going to war here. I mean, it's a bunch of crap.
Remember, all of our news is coming from 6 sources, and they coordinate efforts. They have a message of what the overall tone is supposed to be. And that's why, guys, that's what we're here about. Let's look at some we're here to share alternative information here. We don't want to influence your choice. We just want you to keep your choice. We want to help protect the fact that we have choice. We're unique and compared to some places.
That's for sure. That's what I want to keep.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so let's change the subject a minute, because I was talking to Tom O'Brien a couple of days ago, and he says, boy, on the back of the Wall Street Journal, they have this huge article about debate on running while you're high, specifically on marijuana.
Say that again? The debate over running while you're high. Okay.
Yeah. So, in other words, the ultra-marathoners, these are people who run quite big distance, 50 miles, 100 miles. So they're running, 12, 15, 24 hours. So their body is stressed to the max. Even just a marathon alone, I think, is beyond our normal limit. We can do it, but it really stresses your body bad. So if you're running 50 miles, 100 miles, and these people are amazing people, what happens to them is they get bored. Well, you can imagine just running 24 hours, you're going to get bored. So the high of the marijuana helps them cope with that, because all of a sudden it's a lot more fun.
And
and they're using specifically a uptrend, the stevia version of the marijuana, which is a more uplifting, a little bit of a euphoria type of thing, but they're eating the edibles. Okay, and also it helps with nausea. Because while you're running and you're taking in fluids, it's not imagine, having dinner and running. It's not going to work too well. So your body gets nauseous, people throw up, things like that, and the marijuana helps with that.
Right.
So this is pretty interesting, and there was a real whole debate about this, and they've done clinical tests on this, and they're finding that this, yes, indeed, it does help. First of all, it helps with the pain, it helps with the boredom, and it helps with the nausea.
There you go.
And so they're considering it now a performance-enhancing drug.
Wow. I did not know about that,
So
but there you
then
go.
the same day in the St. Pete Times, they were talking about driving while smoking. And the scientific studies show they find no evidence pot smoking increases the driver's risk of crashing, as with alcohol. And what's happening here is a lot of people are arrested if they have marijuana in their system, or if they can smell the marijuana and stuff like that. So they're under the influence, being arrested for being under the influence. Well, they're under the influence, but it's showing now that while you're driving on it, it's not going to hinder you. It's not going to make you more crash. In fact, it'll slow you down.
I just thought about this visual. I don't know if it was Cheech and Chong or something of like the guy driving,
slow, yeah.
and they're going like 30 miles an hour or something.
Yeah, of course, naturally. But so there's, because I think marijuana now is legal in a few of these states, and because there's so much consumption going on, now you can start getting some of the real data that's coming through, and they're finding that, I was telling Tom, I mean, they're starting to find that this thing is one of the perfect drugs around, and we've been, bashing it for years. So I'm sure there are downsides to marijuana. Naturally, if you overdo everything. Yeah.
Sure.
Then that's going to be a problem.
But I think our body knows what to do with it. That's my key point. Herbs and natural plants, we're not saying that they can't be toxic if they're not properly used. That is important. And foods, everything. Anything in excess can be dangerous. I just think the difference is that drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, you run a higher risk because the body doesn't recognize the chemical constituents as something that it's been designed to deal with. Hey, can I just, a listener sent us an article, hot off the press, haven't had a chance to look at it, but diet and exercise alone are no cure for obesity, doctors say. Okay, and it's a group of respected physicians have stepped forward to challenge the common assertion that obesity can be easily fixed by diet and exercise. Kind of hits on the fact that the human body evolved to endure through periods of food scarcity, has adopted a host of methods to ensure that lost weight will be restored, the author says. Few individuals ever truly recover from obesity.
Well, one of the articles I put into the newsletter this last week when it debuted was about the people on The Biggest Loser.
Okay, wait, I got to read this, okay?
Okay.
All right. So the article goes on. And this is the way I look at things, and maybe I'm wrong, guys. So meanwhile, public health officials and researchers, Ochsner added, should do more to encourage the development of more effective aids to weight loss. And everyone should understand that it may be 20, 30, or 40 years before we see a turnaround. We all want to fix obesity or a cure for it, but eat less, move more is not it, he said. Okay, so what I get when I read that article is a staging. We're working real hard for a pharmaceutical drug that we can make billions off of.
Well, first of all, they're calling it the disease almost, aren't they?
Well, no, it was already categorized. It was just recategorized as a disease.
Yeah.
So technically, anyone that's offering help on obesity is actually, they consider that.
So what we have, basically, our society is just full of this. We hide things.
Okay.
We come up with a disease, and now we're going to give you something to make the symptoms go away. The disease, we don't care if it goes away, because we want just the symptoms to go away.
Well, the science of epigenetics, guys, less than 1% of diseases or not being at ease in your body is genetic. Only less than 1% is hard-coded. The other 99% of your genetic stuff is malleable. It's soft. It's changed by the environment. So that environment could be a wonder drug, or it could be the food, or it could be how you move, or it could be hormonal changes. So, what I'm going to say with this article is, there are some switches, epigenetic switches that switch on the obesity gene. I'm quite confident of that. I believe that cellular memory, going back to a trauma. I think about this stuff all the time. I think about like the Irish potato famine. And perhaps that we know for 2-3 generations afterwards, people that experienced that their offspring had a different genetic expression, almost to prepare them to live longer, or in some cases to store more fat for fear.
Yeah.
So when I read that article, again, this was in TampaBay.com, my first thought is, okay, yeah, there's some other things, and I do believe there's hormones. We already know all that. But I always see when they end it with that comment, I just get a little irked, because I feel like what they're saying is, hold on, we're waiting to say we found a gene or something that we can change. It's not a gene, guys, it's lifestyle, epigenetic factors. And those are how you think, how you move, how you breathe, how you sleep. What are your toxins that you're surrounded with? How do you get rid of the toxins?
What's the quality of the food that you're taking in?
There is no quality food in the United States anymore. Ask Dr. Marshall and his research.
It's very hard. There's no doubt about it. But if you go to the spectrum that we're in, eating the organic food, eating the animals that have etten great food.
Poor, better, best,
Yeah. Best would be wild. And
best would be wild. And when I say that, this is not all of us that are even trying to buy organic or buying the best food that we can for our family, local and organic, even over organic sometimes is better because of the nutrient, kind of like the Brix. When you make a fine wine, you're looking for the highest Brix count, which has a lot to do with the chemicals and the sugars and the salts.
Sure.
A lot of this produce that might be organic has lost its Brix count because it was pulled up 3 weeks ago.
Well, what you're really talking about is that there's really something missing in our diet. And what we need is something that gives us that primal edge.
Well, why do you think we put fulvic
That's exactly why we did it. Yeah. And we really came up with the primal edge to fill this gap in that we always seem to be discovering by going through these articles and people sending us stuff. We always find there's something missing in our diet today, even if you're eating the best food. And that's why I was passionate about that product, and that's why we finally brought it to the TFNN listeners. And I'll tell you, it's fantastic, and it is the missing link here in a sense.
Yes. So, okay, let's go back to your research. New research discovers that depression is an allergic reaction to inflammation.
Well, this is really...
What's our source on that?
This is from freeguide.com.
Feelguide.com.
And there's so many things that give us inflammation. The food gives us inflammation. Pesticides give us inflammation. Bad air gives us inflammation. It's everything. So I can see where this is definitely true, and we can see how many people are depressed in this country. We're slaves, and that's depressing enough. But if you enjoy what you're doing, then that makes it a little bit better. Same thing, if you eat better food, it makes things a little bit better. If you drink water, that's good for you. It makes things a little better. So everything that you can do, what we talk about living a primal lifestyle, gives you a little bit more edge, the primal edge. That can help. So all these little things fit into the jigsaw puzzle. Is it 100%? Probably not. It's the best you can get, though, unless you want to go live in the wild, and then you still got some of that air pollution that comes in, some of the bad water. You're not going to find the purest thing on planet Earth, especially near civilization.
I'm going to go back to telling you real quick. It's an allergic reaction to inflammation. Our gut gets inflamed. We talk about our gut being our second brain. Our gut's inflamed, creates an allergic reaction, inflammation, affects your neurotransmitters. Most of your neurotransmitters for your feel-good are made in your gut. So there you go.
We'll be right back.
See you after the break.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Nico and Paige here. You know, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, thank you. Yes,
So
it
where
is
did this come from?
Sweetheart's Day.
Sweetheart's Day? That's a different day, though, isn't it?
No, I know, but
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead and tell
So
us.
Valentine's Day, it began as a celebration of one or more early Christian saints named Valentinus. Several stories were invented for various Valentines that belonged to February 14th and added later. So part of it's fake. It's kind of a fake holiday, really.
Well, like so many things, they kind of evolved out of a distortion of either a Christian or pagan thing, or and a lot of our holidays are kind of a conglomeration.
So let me ask you, are you doing something special for the day with your sweetheart?
Possibly. Probably a dinner out. I got some stuff going on, some people in from out of town and this weekend, but I'm sure we'll do something
Yeah, I have my
special. How about
granddaughter
you?
coming in.
Yeah, you're going to have your
and her
granddaughter?
boyfriend, so I thought I made reservations over at Carolyn's Kitchen.
Oh, wonderful.
They have a great dinner planned
She was your guest when I was out of town.
Yeah, boy, what a great show. We got a lot of good responses from people on that show.
Absolutely.
And the food is just spectacular. So
It's nice to have a place where we know we can get some good primal food, and they're doing a great job. So if you are in the Tampa Bay area, get on
I
over
would
there.
recommend it highly. I went to the site where she said she buys her meat from, and the meat is top choice meats.
She doesn't mess around.
And I'll tell you, it's expensive. She must be getting this stuff wholesale, so I don't know otherwise how she could afford at the prices that she's doing it. But it's a fabulous food there. So we're going to bring some wine and
that sounds like a great idea. And she has a Paleo to Go program. If those of you are in the local area, you're trying to make that shift and you're still kind of find it confusing about how to eat a paleo meal, you might want to get involved and you can have your meals prepared and kind of help you out.
Yeah, there's also another site called Paleo on the Go, which Dave Rhodes, he was on our show sometime in the summer, I think it was. One time when you were gone, I think. And he has some really great meals and some really good bargains. One of them was $99. You get 14 meals.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, get some help if it's hard, because there's a lot of people when they're trying to transition, they find it hard. But then once they see that,
because I think they're stuck in the mode of trying to transform what they know about food into this new paleo type of thing.
Remember when your mother would say, "Oh, you need your starch." No, I don't.
You actually don't.
But occasionally you can have your little starch, little refeeding starch.
The feeding of starch was basically a starvation food for, eons and eons until like Betty Crocker and those people came up with the Crisco and the flour. Before that, there were really no baking. If you look at some of the 1800s, people have cookbooks. It's all what we're talking about. And around the beginning of the 19th or 20th century, it started to change by these manufacturers coming up with cookbooks on how to use wheat and rye and make bread and make cakes and make pies.
And who realized what was going wrong? Dr. Weston A. Price started looking at the dentition, the palate arch, the facial structures of his clients, and said, something's wrong here, folks, and it ain't pretty.
Yeah, so if you dig back, and on the web, I had put it in one of my previous newsletters, a whole bunch of links, some of the old cookbooks, and when you start, it really opens your eyes to what we used to eat just 100 years ago. Now you go back even further and you get healthier and healthier and healthier if you look at it that way. And that's what we're really trying to do here on the show, is inform you that we've made this change, and whichever way you want to go, more vegetables, less vegetables, more meat, less meat, doesn't really matter. It's the source of the food.
The source of the food. We want you to get away from the processed, packaged, boxed and bagged dead food, toxic food, and that's what we're here about. We're about empowerment. We want us all to be, I love the ideology of words. Empowerment means I'm a powerful mind. I'm a powerful mind, you're a powerful mind, you're a powerful mind.
Yes, and you'll be powerful if you pick up some Primal Edge Daily Nutrition on the TFNN website. Please pick up a subscription to the Health Signals newsletter, and I got a brand new one coming out next week. So thanks a lot for joining us.
Have a super weekend. We'll see you next week.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Okay, bye.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.